Welcome back to the Black Star video. Today's class 103 in Bitcoin. We're going to talk about Bitcoin, what it is, what it does, and why it's here. So let's get it. Welcome back to another video. This class is 103. We're going to talk about Bitcoin, what it is, what it does, and why it's here. And I'm calling these classes because I'm giving you some information on what crypto is all about in every subject matter that I can. So right now we're going to talk about Bitcoin, why is Bitcoin, what is Bitcoin, and how it can help you and how it can hurt you maybe. Let's get it. So in the beginning of this article on the website, it defines Bitcoin. Bitcoin, simply put, was a system of digital value that was intended to replace legacy systems, centralized systems that messed up our financial systems and our financial economy in 2008. So it was invented in 2009 by a pseudo or unknown person that went by the name of Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, nobody knows who he is or who she is or who they are, but this system was invented by this person that no one knows about, and has grown from when it was created in 2009 from pennies on the dollar to now thousands of dollars, and has an immense value structure. It's being adopted because it is a decentralized system of value that is transferred from person to person and is also being recognized now as a digital gold. This is going to be very huge in our near future, and the more you know about Bitcoin, the better off you'll be. All right, so we'll go over in this article as well as how Bitcoin works. And how does it work is very simple. It's not complicated, although it may seem that way. So it's just like your bank account. If you're going to move money from one bank account to the next, it's only using a one-party system, and it has to be in consensus with the bank. The bank has to say, yes, it can go through. They can always reject the transaction and invalidate it. In this system, you don't need that. It sends over the transactions with your authority and your authority only. Right? There's never the need to go to a teller to get your funds and ask for it back, or ask the bank to send over wire transfers for you. You don't need that here at all. And we do know with debit cards, there are ways that you can make transactions happen without having to go to a third party, going to the bank or going to the teller. You go to ATM machines and so forth. Yes, that is very easy and convenient. However, if you want to do more serious transactions or something more interpersonal, you would need the bank to do that. You would need a central authority. With crypto assets or cryptocurrency, you don't need anyone to give you permission to send over anything. It is all done by your own accord. So how does that work exactly? You have your wallet, which we'll get into another video. And in your wallet, you're holding X amount of Bitcoin. And you need to send X amount of Bitcoin over to Dwayne Reed, let's just say, to pay for something. Or you want to send over a certain amount of Bitcoin to your aunt. Right? So your aunt needs a certain amount of Bitcoin. You want to transfer that value over to us. So you put in her wallet address. You hit the send button. There might be a password. There might not be a password. But because it's your wallet, it has what's called a public and private key. And once you authorize that transaction, those two match. And once they match, it sends it off into the network for validation. What gives it validation from the main sources, which is your wallet, is that the public and private key match, and that B, you have those, or that value of Bitcoin in your wallet to send over. And then C, does this wallet actually exist on the blockchain or within the network? And once those are all confirmed, the transaction starts. And then it starts to get recorded in what's called the ledger system. And the ledger is just a big record book of what is going on, and it recorded inside the network what transpired, when and where and how. And it's just, again, just like your bank account. Your bank records exactly what you do, when you do it, and how you've done it. The difference is that there's thousands of now computers that are actually holding these ledgers throughout the network and validating them to make sure they're good. Once this validation is done, it starts to spread throughout the whole network. And sometimes it only needs 6 in consensus to make a validation come 100% true, and then it's okay and confirmed, which stops any type of fraud or illegitimate activity, or so to speak. So if there was one system or one node that tried to manipulate the ledger and say that this transaction happened, the other nodes have to be in consensus. If they don't, they reject that one node's transactions and they get rid of it. Doesn't get validated on the blockchain. And how does it get recorded on the blockchain is that you'll have these other nodes, or all the nodes in consensus, working in unison to mine blocks. And once they mine these blocks, it inputs that transaction into that block and it gets recorded into the chain. And what it means by chain is that they're all linked together. There's no separation. All the blocks are accessible within the network through this chain of information that are handled within segments that are called blocks. And that's how transactions work within the Bitcoin network and actually all cryptocurrency, so to speak. Now, how do you make money with Bitcoin? Simply put, you buy it when it's cheap, you sell it when it's high. There's also some other ways of making money with DeFi. That's very possible, very risky, but it's becoming more stabilized as time goes on. You can make money that way. You can also make money with Bitcoin if you develop a bunch of miners, get yourself some miners and start mining Bitcoin. Those are the real ways to make money with Bitcoin. So think of Bitcoin like a stock, an asset on the stock market. You purchase it low, it increases in value, you sell high. What is the best thing about Bitcoin versus stocks is that is the most successful asset class right now within the finance ecosystem. It has increased in value tremendously over the years, from pennies on a dollar in 2008, 2009 to thousands of dollars that it's worth right now, and will continue to increase in value as time goes on, because the only amount of Bitcoin you would ever find, it would be 21 million as time goes on. Right now circulating, there's roughly 18 to 19 million Bitcoin within circulation, and a lot of those are lost. So there's many aspects on whether Bitcoin is a good investment or not. Couple pros and cons. It will increase. Its growth potential and value is tremendous and great. It's 100% decentralized, so there's no central authority that can get involved with you and your cryptocurrency or crypto asset, so to speak. They can't take it from you, seize it, garnish it, nothing. It is yours. It is not tied to any type of legacy system that is centralized whatsoever. And although the ledger is very public, they will have to identify you completely if that's your wallet or not. And there's several ways that they can, and there's several ways that they can't. One of the main ways that they can is if you identify your wallet to a central system. And if you identify to a central system, then yes, they'll be able to identify you. Other than that, no one ever knows who you are, where you're sending funds to and or from or receiving from. No one will ever know that without you giving that information up. So you have a sense of privacy. And transactions are cheap and fast, right? If you want to send Bitcoin to Malaysia, it would happen very fast in comparison to getting a wire transfer to Malaysia. A Malaysia's transfer can take days, hours, and on top of that, you need the central authority to okay it. You have to do it at a certain time. And if you don't get any which one of those three, the transaction won't happen. So if you're out of time, they're not going to send it. If not, it's going to be sent late. If you don't get the authority from that central authority to send it off, then that transaction will never happen as well. And on top of that, by the time you send it, it could be too late for the person who actually needs the funds. With Bitcoin, it can happen very fast, very seamless, and trustless. The bad thing about Bitcoin is that the price is very unstable. So we need more regulation within the ecosystem to kind of stabilize price, so that way it stops all this madness in trading and dumping, and we'll have a more vibrant ecosystem. Right? There's no financial protections like if you have money in the bank and the bank collapsed. The biggest thing about Bitcoin is that there is no central authority controlling the finances and playing with your money, loaning it out, making investments and taking chances, which makes banks crash and takes the risk. There's no federal government. There's no government whatsoever or entity or organization that's securing and or ensuring your finances. So that's the risk that you take. You become your own bank. You become your own financial structure. You become completely sovereign from anybody with your finances. And one of the other concerns is hacking. Someone can actually hack into your wallet. It's actually very difficult to do. You'd have to be somewhat careless in that degree for someone to hack into your wallet and you to lose your funds. So be very mindful of what you do, when you do, and how you do it. It's the same steps that banks take. Remember, banks can get robbed. Your finances are there, but they secure it as best they can and try to avoid the situations from happening. Now, in the later video, we're going to talk about wallets and what wallets are. Now, wallets are hot and are cold. And what do we mean by hot wallet? A hot wallet is any wallet that's interconnected or connected to the internet in any way, shape, or form. So any type of exchange, your computer, your cell phone, your tablet, any which one of those devices or places or things that are connected to the internet are hackable, and you have a chance of losing some funds that way. A cold wallet is a device that's not connected to the internet in any way, shape, or form and requires your authorization, one, physically to connect it to a mobile device or computer system, and then B, your instructions to get the transaction to go through and authorize it at that same time. So you need that with a cold wallet. It's completely safe, has never been hacked. There hasn't been that situation yet. And I say yet because anything that man makes, man could break. So you need to be very mindful of what you do, how you do it, where you do it, and who you're doing it around. Be very mindful always. So cold wallets are not connected to the internet in any way, shape, or form, and require your manual instruction and physically to connect this device to the internet. And we will discuss wallets in a later video. Hot wallets are any wallet whatsoever that's connected to the internet via software or exchange or browser, web browser, whatever case may be. Those are hot wallets. So this is another article by CoinDesk about what is Bitcoin, and it gives a lot more detail. I'm going to put the link in the description and just go run through it real quick. So again, Bitcoin was supposed to be an alternative to a legacy system of currency. So it was invented by this pseudo person or fictitious person named Satoshi Nakamoto. Let's be realistic. Will Bitcoin be used as currency? It cannot and should not because it's volatility. But it is a great store of value at this time. There may be other use cases for Bitcoin as time goes on, but at this time right now, a store of value is its most imminent future and or present. But just think about it. If you had Bitcoin and you went to go buy a cup of coffee at Starbucks for $3.50, and just like this article says, if it goes up to $4 after you transfer it, you'll be upset. But then again, on the other end, if you're the merchant and you accept Bitcoin at $3.50 and then it goes down to $2.50, you just lost out in profit. So it's not too useful, so to speak, as an actual payment and or peer-to-peer system at this time. We need Bitcoin to stabilize a lot more and lose some of its volatility, but it would be better as a peer-to-peer system. Stable coins are actually coming in. And if we can get Bitcoin to back stable coins, that's also a great use case. And it also locks up a lot more Bitcoin versus it transferring all around. If we get Bitcoin to be more of a stored and it's backing a stable asset, that's more of a better use case than what it is right now. So we went over before another article, right? Bitcoin's on a blockchain network. Its native currency is Bitcoin, also known as BTC, and it's here to stay. It's going to be our future. It's going to be the way we transact with finances, financial structures, financial entities in the future. Not so to speak Bitcoin, but crypto in its entirety. There are major changes coming in the near future. So I'll leave these links in the description so that way you'll get a better idea of what this article is also talking about, what they're trying to get into. You'll have a bunch of information on your hands that you can read and get more in detail. And we'll just go at that. Bitcoin is really a great utility for the near financial structures systems. I can't give financial advice, and you should really consider it. So I made this whiteboard to try and simplify what Bitcoin is and to give you a better idea, something you can reference in the future and just go back to. So Bitcoin is decentralized. There's no central authority. It's not governed by anyone, only you and the nodes that are operating the blockchain. It's a peer-to-peer network in which person-to-person value is transferred and there is no governing body. It's self-governed. You can send value from one person to the next or another entity, business, what have you. You can do that without anyone's approval. It's made to be peer-to-peer. It's a secure network. This network is secured by thousands and thousands of nodes acting in consensus to make sure that the ledgers and our transactions are verified in accordance to the way they need to be. So if you have a certain amount of value in your wallet, and let's say another node is now saying you don't have that value in your wallet, it doesn't get recognized because all the other thousands of systems are saying that ledger is wrong and its input system was wrong. This didn't happen. Get rid of it. It's a trustless network. And why is it a trustless network? Because you don't need a third person, a third party to authorize transactions for you on your behalf. You're self-governed. You don't need anyone saying you can or cannot do something. This is all done with your approval, your acknowledgement, your authorization, and no one else's. And all is done in a public ledger. This ledger is accessible to just about anyone, but it still holds a sense of privacy. They would have to identify who you are and if that was your wallet and if you did this transaction and when you did the transaction and so on. However, it also works on our behalf. Let's say government starts to use Bitcoin. We get to see what they're using Bitcoin for, how, when, and where, and they have to disclose that, especially in the US. So although Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer network made for payments, it is now becoming a store of value because its price is very volatile. It goes up, it goes down. right? You don't want to buy a cup of coffee, like I said earlier, for $3.50. Next thing you know, that same Bitcoin is now worth $5 or $10, right? You just lost out. And in retrospect, if you're a business and you sold a cup of coffee for $3.50 and now that same Bitcoin is now worth $2, you'll be upset as well. So it's not too useful as a payment network, so to speak, at this time, but it is useful as a store of value because its price fluctuates and its demand is increasing consistently. Countries are starting to call for Bitcoin. More businesses are starting to get involved with Bitcoin. More financial institutions want to get involved with Bitcoin. It is our future. It is the new financial structure and is the future of finance. Crypto is the future of finance, and there is no if, and, or buts about it. It's coming. There are some systems that are scared right now. They're concerned because they want to be involved in how our value systems work. This decentralized value system disrupts that in its entirety. So Bitcoin is not hard to understand. Very easy, very simple. Open up your views and perspectives. Give it a chance. Let this information that I'm sharing with you sink in. If you have any questions, reach out to me. So that's it in this video. I appreciate you watching. This is class 103, Bitcoin, what it is, what it's about, and it's not that hard. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me anytime, 929-420-8488. And if I'm not available, leave me a message, send me a text, and I'll answer you as soon as I can. Again, my name is Rich. Thank you for watching the video, class 103, Bitcoin. If you like the content, hit that like button. If you want to get notified every time I make a video, hit that bell notification. Support your boy and subscribe to the channel. And Black Star, we are the light, the darkness. Peace out.